innocent and holy light of God. In this moment, the willingness to accept the holiness within, the innocence within, and to see only innocence and holiness in every moment within the construct of the world, where before you saw separation, where before you saw differences, where before you saw good and bad and right and wrong, more and less. Now is the calm to let the truth of love be revealed to you through your heart, the willingness to open the heart, the willingness to surrender all perceptions of defense that have been built lifetime after lifetime. Now is the moment for love to shine. Now is the moment for love to be accepted in the heart, returned to its natural state within. As you truly let go of all that you thought was true, all of life that seemed to be wrapped in death, now let go, opening to the eternal love that is everything that is real. Nothing else exists. Only love. And the journey here, this incarnation, is the divine gift of remembering that you willingly bring yourself to realize for the first time within all the incarnations that seem to have happened, within all of these incarnations, the realization of a temporary choice that has been given to you by the light of God for your remembering, to be able to choose in every moment between illusions and love, to feel the power of God through that choice, to feel the power and the strength of the divine alchemy of love's healing through your choice. In the realization of choice, you will no longer see yourself as a victim. You will no longer believe that victims are possible, but that the power and the strength of God is waiting to be discovered within. And that this power and this strength of love is what and who you have always been. Awaken to the wholeness, the holiness, the eternal light of your divine self. And with you in this acceptance is the transformation of all existence, return to the awareness of love. Every moment is a choice. Every moment is either the acceptance of the past and pain and suffering and the perception of hell, or the choice to open to love, to open to learning, letting the spirit of love be your mighty companion in every moment, teaching, teaching you the way of love, teaching you that you must love because it is what you are, divine, holy, innocent, perfection of God. In every moment is the choice to breathe in the joy, peace, and harmony, to discover the joy and peace and harmony within the heart. In this moment, the willingness to surrender the identity of the body, to recognize and be joyous that this symbol of separation is not the truth of who you are. Surrendering the body to be used by love, letting it be just the instrument of love, a way of expressing joy, a way of expressing peace and harmony, and offering that peace and harmony to all creation. The joyous life, the joyous life of eternal love. And as you breathe and walk in the world, giving every footstep to the spirit of love, letting the spirit of love be the divine teacher. Show me how to be in this body. Show me how to be in this world. Show me the way. Direct my footsteps. Direct my mind. Direct all life. I surrender. Let this be your prayer, and let this prayer breathe all day long. Every moment. The choice of love. In this moment, holy and perfect, this universe is all love. This sanctuary is the blessing of love, filled with love and harmony, because love is all that exists. The acceptance of the life force of God, to realize and accept there's only one presence here. It is the life force of God. Embrace the true nature of love. Embrace the divine life force. Within this life force, we live and move and breathe as one. One love. Divine and perfect and eternal. The recognition in this moment that there is nothing to do, nothing to become, nothing to prove, nothing to win. Only the letting go of a false identity that never was, and the acceptance of love's perfection that is already perfect and whole within. And the realization that only the mind of ignorance has dropped a veil so that love wasn't recognized anymore. And now the willingness for the veil to be lifted through surrender, through trust, through the yes of your heart. Allowing these prayers to be the conduit to spark reality into your heart and mind as you surrender your mind back to God, refusing to use the mind for personal thoughts, personal ideas, personal strategies of any kind, personal attempts at making a separate self. Surrendering and allowing. Letting the heart be opened in the realization that all the divine beings of love that are one love can lead you constantly just for the asking, just for the willingness to remember that love only wants to serve you. The strength of the light only wants to serve you and your remembering. And to make a tender vow within to no longer want to battle the way of love, but the willingness to have the song in your heart, lead me, lead me, lead me. I will listen, I will listen, I will follow. I am Mary of Conception. I am seeking to open your heart, offering my love and guidance as your suffering world comes apart. Bring your pain like a flower to open. Bring your sorrow to place at my feet. Tears that are watering my garden at the river of Jordan will meet. Oh, my children, I seek your surrender. Both the path and the message are clear. My Saint John is walking beside you, holding your hand through this fear. Keep your strength as you seek to be humble. Let the power that guides you reveal all the blessings of my holy rapture, confirming you know what is real. The Divine Mother. The Divine Mother that is so powerful, that this divine feminine aspect of God comes in so many aspects, that every beloved that has ever walked the earth in the belief of separation can find this Divine Mother just in a whisper, just in the slightest whisper. And she always answers. She always brings the comfort of truth, the willingness to listen for that quiet voice of love that will soothe the fears as you return to the truth. I must love. I must love with all of my heart. Every moment is my opportunity to love. The Blessed Mother is the one who calls to me to return home into the divine humility of love, listening and following. As the Divine Mother calls me to love God with all of my heart and to see God in all life, to be swept away in that love so fully, so deeply, that there will be nothing left that will ever want to return to separation and the belief of pain and suffering. Oh, my Blessed Mother, Divine Mother, you hold us in the truth of forgiveness. We are here to remember to love, to remember to forgive the past, to truly put it into the bonfire of love and truly let it go. No longer willing to live in nightmares that have been made to be justified by desperation and fear. Divine Father, Divine Creator, we say yes to the forgiveness. We gladly accept forgiveness as the gift of love itself. To realize that every thought of separation has been a mistaken thought, a mistaken idea that is no longer wanted, that is no longer held in esteem. We are here to say yes to that true forgiveness, as every beloved must accept the divine tranquility of peace as we remember to love with all of our heart. Eu devo amar no coração, a Virgem Mãe foi quem me deu, para eu amar ao Senhor Deus. Ó Virgem Mãe, Divina Mãe, vós nos perdoe, nos pecadores, para nos amar ao Senhor Deus. Divino Pai, Rei Criador, vós nos perdoe, nos pecadores, para nos amar com grande amor. The realization that you are here to learn to love is a humbling realization.
because the mind has made up a story that said, I'm here to prove, I'm here to win, I'm here to conquer, I'm here to find a better self. And in truth, the whole and holy innocent self is already perfect. There is nothing for you to repair. There is nothing for you to improve on within this world of separation. There is no way that you can improve in this world of separation. In the belief of separation, by its intrinsic sense of separation, it is illusion. And adding more illusions to illusion has no value. To return to the truth is the only purpose of walking in this world in the belief that you are separate. This was not God's plan. This was free will that said, I know something, and was mistaken. Mistaken that anything can be known of anything other than the truth of love. And since that's been forgotten, it's the divine learning, the divine schoolroom of love that will use time for its only true purpose. Using time to remember and letting all belief in time be surrendered and all belief in death be surrendered. And in the trust and faith of love, accepting eternal life and no longer being willing to use the body as evidence of death. Life eternal is the truth of love. It's just coming home, living as the life force of God. And living in this life force of God, the truth of love will dance and manifest its divine creations, all of God, all of love. She responded, the bird's favorite songs you do not hear, for their most flamboyant music takes place when their wings are stretched above the trees, and they are smoking the opium of pure freedom. It is healthy for the prisoner to have faith that one day he will again move about wherever he wants, feel the wondrous grit of life, devoid of structure, find all wounds and debts stamped, canceled, paid, gone. I once asked a bird, "How is it that you fly in this gravity of darkness?" And she responded, "Love lifts me." The simplicity of love, the simplicity of divine truth. In the simplicity of love, all debts and wounds stamped cancel and paid and gone. It's that simple. Forgiveness is the key to truly forgive, to truly want, to open to the divine alchemy of true forgiveness. I've said many times the world has a distortion in the name of forgiveness that has no reality to forgiveness at all. The world makes the idea of forgiveness to be something that is a temporary respite of, I will forgive you because I'm generous. But the truth of forgiveness realizes you're forgiving what never was. To forgive mistaken identities that you've made, to truly forgive all thoughts of wrongdoing or even right doing, to forgive all the roles that you have given to everything that you have seen in this world, is to set it all free. To deny the bondage of separation. To want to open to love so deep and so true that you don't want anyone anymore to be in a state of suffering by giving them roles that are untrue, that are completely fabricated in the name of separation. No role that you can give to anyone can touch their actual true holiness. Every role that you give to anyone can only hold them in a state of diminished capacity. To recognize that each beloved is the oneness, and that each beloved is only the holiness of God. Nothing else is true. Every beloved is the creation of God. This is not a saying. This is reality. There is not anything within the life force of God that is not perfect and holy. Everything that has ever been created cannot die, cannot be changed, cannot be diminished, except in the mind that holds it prisoner. Your own freedom depends on the freedom that you offer. To forgive, to joyously accept and embrace that it was an error, just an error in thinking, an error of ideas that said everyone's different. Everyone is more or less in this world. When God cannot create more or less, love can only create love. Purity, innocence, perfection. And as you accept the perfection that is within, it must be accepted for everyone. That is where the freedom really exists. Imagine that all the lifetimes that you've walked in the belief of separation, in one moment can be completely released, can be set free of any idea of bondage by your choice. That is how powerful your choice is. But your choice has to be wholehearted. Even though it is your choice, you can't step into the truth of heaven, which is right here in love. You can't step into it without completely forgiving. You can't hold out certain aspects that you find unforgivable. As soon as you try to separate out things, you've lost the truth of forgiveness. As soon as you try to bargain in order to hold back your likes and dislikes, you've lost the connection. But love with your whole heart. Want so deeply that no one be held in bondage in any way. To forgive that there should be punishment, that there is a need for punishment of any kind. Everyone in this world has been punished in their mind, and every beloved in this world has wanted to punish another. The pain of that perception of punishment, of the need for punishment, is the poison that you believe you're giving to someone else, but you're actually drinking it yourself because it holds you in bondage. And the veil of separation drops down and you're not aware of love in that perception of bondage. It's like a choice that you hold in your two hands, one love and the other one the hatred that is believed to be real. Everyone has had that hatred in their heart. Everyone. And that honesty of that recognition that I must love, I must learn to love, because love is the truth. Love is life. That honesty is able then to take that belief of hatred and truly surrender it into the hands of God. Truly no longer wanting, and actually praying for the help. The help to become untangled from the past of believing that hatred was justified, believing that punishment was justified, that imprisonment is not the truth. That imprisonment is self-made. Imagine that you've been trying to escape from a prison for lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, only to find that you had the key in your pocket the whole time. And that the key that was in your pocket is to choose love. And then you realize how simple. I've been looking everywhere else for the problem, believing that the problem was outside and the cause somehow of something else. And all the while, the key's in your pocket. To realize that power, not a personal power, but the power of God that is wanting to serve you in every moment. To remember, to forgive, to learn to forgive, because it is a learning. Where there has been a belief in condemnation, forgiveness is the learning that brings the healing to that belief of condemnation. To make that choice, to realize and to accept, to first truly accept that your divine perfect self has never been altered. That it is as pure and perfect and holy as the day you were created by God. The moment of creation created holiness, innocence, and purity. Unchangeable, completely unchangeable. And to accept that is to accept the way of love's learning. To humbly give up the fight. To give up the perception of the need for battle. The world is addicted to the belief in battle, to the belief in enemies, to the belief in right and wrong. And the world has made a set of rules that promotes condemnation, promotes separation. But love is calling you. The love that calls to you is your source, the creator of all creation. The wisdom, the divine intelligence, the source of all life. That is the power of your true nature. And to open to that true nature and really want to be not only reminded, but taught in every moment by the divine alchemy of love that is wanting to serve you always and is right here, right now. Nothing is missing. Nothing. Is it a journey of untangling? Yeah, it is. But you don't have to worry about the untangling. You're not the untangler. You just show up in the willingness, in the receptivity, in the refusal to accept the suspicions of the past, the resistance of the past, the doubt of the past, and to truly accept that you are loved, that you are love itself, that nothing else is true. To hold yourself in a focus of devotion that refuses to allow the past idea of knowing be the distraction in any moment. To focus where the truth is, in the quiet, in the stillness, when you no longer are willing to listen to your own mind that is just filled with lies of the past. As you ask for the truth to be revealed, love always answers. The humility of love that you're asked to embrace, to drop into this divine place of humility, is to say, I don't know the way. I don't know the way. How could I know the way? I haven't walked there before. I've never had to return to love before. Stepping out of the belief of separation and listening to that exquisite, gentle voice of love that will never take you in a wrong direction. It will not have the approval of your ego. The ego will not approve of the way back to love. And you may not even find a huge amount of beloveds that will go with you. But you're not here to gain popularity. You're here to lead the way back to love for humanity. But to lead humanity back to love, you must offer love. That is the light that leads, the light that forgives, the light that is willing to be happy rather than right about the past, and joyously open the heart and offer peace, offer joy, offer forgiveness. What does forgiveness look like in a moment? Forgiveness looks like peace. Forgiveness looks like I have nothing to prove. I'm just here to learn to love, because it's who and what you are. learning is returning to learn to love, so that you can hear the bird's favorite songs. Because in that realization of love, you will realize the bird is you. There is no other. And every moment becomes a song of love. You can join every flower, you can join every cloud, you can join every bird, you can join every insect, you can join everything in the willingness to love. That is the expansion. That is, as you say yes to love, your heart begins to expand and the barriers of who you thought you were start to disappear. Where you thought you ended was at the end of the body identity. Not realizing that the body is outside, just like everything else. It's not who you are. You can't be contained. The truth of you can't be contained in a small form. That's the ego's idea of life, where there is no life. You can't be contained. Your heart will burst and join the one heart. Let love take you. Let love show the way. As you surrender all of the beliefs that mean nothing, all the beliefs of right and wrong and good and bad, everything that is not peace and joy is just an idea that has made itself into a form that will fall away. But love will never die. Love will never diminish. Love's natural state is expansion. When you believe in the fear, there's a contraction. Everything gets smaller and smaller and smaller in its idea of being protected and separate. And just when you think, I have to protect more, is when the choice has to be remembered. No, I have to let go and open and trust and take that leap of faith that I'm in the hands of God. I don't have to worry about what to say or what to do. Love is directing me because this is what I want. This is what is real. The addictions that the ego has made in the name of being separate, being individualized, needing to prove, all of that is being called to be surrendered and questioned. What am I believing in? What do I truly want? What is my life for? And all of the addictions that come from that, those addictions have your attention because they're familiar, because they're believed in the past to be legitimate. Addiction to something outside is just the place of pain and suffering that is self-made and need not be. It's not the truth of you. The bird's favorite songs you do not hear. And they are smoking the opium of pure freedom. That's the only kind of addiction you want to have, is the invitation of the pure freedom. And then it's not an addiction. It's just you realize, oh, this is all God. All freedom, all ease, all peace. And all the wounds will be found and the debts stamped, canceled. Canceled because they never existed. You had no debt to pay. You have done nothing. You have never sinned. And all of the ideas of separation was just a mistake. Everything that you think you did in one lifetime or another has never been true. To recognize illusion for what it is to celebrate in the heart for the freedom that is truly your true life. And there's nothing that you have to do to earn that. It's just acceptance. But as you accept it for you, you accept it for everyone, because everyone is you. There is no other. It's as if in the moment of the belief of separation, identity fragmented into a prism of all millions and millions and millions of separate identities, all looking just enough different to hold the belief that everyone is somebody else. But there is only one love, one divine spirit, one heart. And all the forms that were made that are the temporary forms, they will all fall away. They never were the truth of oneness. It was just clay made into forms. Come back to the one heart. Offer love. Take the leap of faith and offer love without conditions. Resist all of the mind's games that say, no, I need to protect and defend. Turn away. Turn away from the lies of limitation and separation. Don't let one thought take you that says, I should be punished. I should suffer. And then the battle is on, because the ego is always fighting with itself. Where you hear one voice saying, I'm terrible, I'm rotten, I need punishment, and then the other voice is saying, no, it was somebody else, it's somebody else's fault, it's the world, it's this, it's that. And this battle that goes on is just the ego battling with itself. Love doesn't battle. And beneath that screaming voice of battle is the voice of love. Quiet, always present, no opinions, just the reality of love and light and innocence. And love keeps calling to you. Come back. Come back to love. Come back. The realization of choice is an essential element, and the realization and the acceptance that your thoughts alone are causing you pain. When the belief of separation came into its mad idea, the belief of projection was made. The belief of projection was necessary in order to have the game played that you have to keep fixing things outside. That there is a problem outside, and as soon as you build a good enough fortress or you build a good enough structure of some kind, that you're going to have the protection that's necessary from that outside danger. And then to discover that the perception of danger is coming from your own mind. This can be the most glorious day of your life and incarnation. To finally realize, oh, there's nothing actually outside, it's just my mind. Then the healing really begins, because it's recognized what the problem is. And there is only one problem: the belief that you're separate from God and that your world that you made is real. To surrender thoughts into love, to surrender them back, to want them to be healed, to no longer want the battle or the belief of separation, is the power of your choosing coming into manifestation and realization. It isn't God's will for you to be ever in pain. To believe in pain is to believe in a false life. There is no suffering in God, and there is no suffering in you, in the truth of you. Suffering was developed as an ego ploy to be used instead of visible chains around your ankles, holding you in a perception of bondage. Suffering is a relationship that is about self-punishment, as if you want to punish yourself first before your belief that God will punish you for separating from God. Except in the truth of God, there's a realization that you could never separate from God. Living in an illusion does not make it true. Love cannot leave its source. You can make up an entire world of what you believe is actually happening. It doesn't make it real. That's the remembering. Every beloved in their awakening to reality realizes, oh, there was nothing to do. There was nothing to do to return. It was just the letting go of what never was. And love guides you there in every moment if you accept it. Accepting that divine love. Let me be still and listen to the truth. Can this be your prayer? Let me be still and listen to the truth. How easy is that? How simple is that? The ego doesn't think it's easy. The ego thinks of it as a threat and makes as much noise and as much commotion in the mind as possible, having as many thoughts running at one time as possible to avoid that stillness, because there is such a fear of the stillness. There is such a fear of that quiet, inward connection with God. Let me be still and listen to the truth. Let my feeble own voice be still, asking for the help to step away from the personal voice. And the clear sign is every time that you use the word I know, I think, I understand, instead of I still don't know anything. What can the I know except the belief of separation? Letting God lead. Let this voice be still, and let me hear the mighty voice of truth itself. But the mighty voice of truth is in the stillness. It's in that quiet place, and it's a gentle voice. It is never a voice that berates. It is never a voice that says should. It is never a voice that brings any connection with condemnation, shame, guilt. That isn't the voice of love. Love does not berate. Love does not condemn. To realize you cannot be condemned except by your own illusions. That is why there is such an insatiable need to project in the belief of separation. Because the guilt and the shame of the idea that you are guilty of something, you want to get rid of. Everybody does the same thing unconsciously, tries to get rid of the guilt and shame and the belief of condemnation. Put it on somebody else and then feel better, because they're either worse than you or they're the problem to begin with. And none of it's true. None of it's true. It's just this deep, deep fear that you actually have done something, that you somehow are damaged, that somehow you are less than all of love. To stand in God's reflection is to never battle again. Because there's nothing to battle. It's just letting go of all of the nightmares, refusing to accept them anymore. Is there a place of firmness in the spiritual journey? Yes, there is. Because the addiction to the past is seductive, because it's so familiar. And in that alignment with love, you find the firmness of what you truly want. And you find your strength coming from the truth of God. And you realize that everything in this world has been upside down. That where you thought there was strength in battle, you now see it as the weakness that it truly is. And where you thought the voice of God was feeble, you find the true strength, the strength of love. That's the only strength. There is no strength in pain. There is no strength in battle. There's no strength in condemnation. It's just fear's workshop. Has no value. Love heals. Truly, truly heals, because love is the healing balm of life. It is the only capacity of healing that there is. Open your heart by willing. Just be willing to open your heart, and all of love will serve you in that divine transformation. Never without. Help me to hear the mighty voice for truth itself, and assure me that I am God's perfect creation. Open to the assurance. Let the voice of love soothe your heart and assure you that you are a child of God. Perfect and whole as you were created. Nothing else is real. Seek not to change the world. Come back. Come back and choose to change your mind about the world. That's where the healing is. Setting the world free from the perceived bondage of limitation and separation. No enemies. No problems. No battles. I must love. And opening that door